Hello, my name is Matthias Ziegler and I'm leading technology innovation in Accenture Austria, Switzerland, Germany and Russia, as well as all of our technology incubation groups in Europe. I'm happy to sponsor our TechInnoValue fireside chats in which Accenture's top experts share their view on innovation and on our future.
Hi, I'm Felix Schiessl. I'm a member of Matthias' team and I drive the quantum computing community and technology innovation marketing in Accenture Austria, Switzerland, Germany and Russia. I'm excited to get valuable insights from my guests in this series, so stay up to date by following our hashtag TechInnoValue. Today I'm with Mei Wang, who is the global lead for Accenture's China Bridge program. Mei, thanks a lot for being with us. So can you give us a little insight into your role?
Absolutely. So as Felix mentioned, my name is Mei Wang, and I'm leading this global program called the China Bridge at Accenture Ventures and Open Innovation. I'm 100% made in China, but spent the last 20 years in Europe. And I see myself as a bridge, not only at work, but my personal life, I'm also the bridge because I have family in Germany as well as in China. So my role here at Accenture is basically helping our global client to grow by leveraging China's tech ecosystems. Right, by connecting them with the right tech players in China for the growth, not only actually inside of China, but also at the global level and scale up the innovation.
So what can European companies learn from China?
That is very interesting and a good question. And firstly, before I answer your question, what European company can learn from China, we need to understand our own strengths, our European companies' strengths. As I'm based in Germany, so I'm taking Germany as an example. And German companies has its own unique strengths, from Chinese perspective, it's a quality, right? It's a quality that German companies can bring to China. Chinese people love the qualities. And we are very specialized in industry innovation and capability. And now coming to China. And China, you have to understand, China has went through a very big transformation over the last 30 or 40 years. One of the strengths now, if you look at China, is their digital capability. And this digital capability enabled Chinese companies leading in certain area, not only in the traditional industry, but also in the digital industry, such as software platforms, such as e-commerce, right? The B2C now extending into B2B. And what we can learn from China, and I think, I wouldn't say using the words learn, but what we can really understand what's going on in China and what are the drivers behind their success. This is important because in the end, we want to apply those drivers in our own country, in our own region. From my perspective, there are two reasons, at least two reasons, what I believe make China leading in the digital area. One, from the government perspective, from institutional perspective, they combined the so-called strategic objective with a very problematic method. You know, the Chinese people like planning. China government has all this every 5 years, they have a plan. That plan is basically set up the vision. And somehow that vision is shared by the local Chinese companies as well as the people. Right? And then they have this problematic method. So now we call agile approach, but in China, actually, they don't even know what is agile approach, but they doing it. It's really learning by doing. It's about experiments, launch in the so-called China speed. That mentality of open to change and adopt is something definitely for the German companies we can borrow and we can try to experiment that in our own business.
So when German and Chinese companies are collaborating, what are modes? So how does that look like?
Oh, there are so many cases that actually indicating we are collaborating, and it's not only happening recently. I mean, if you're looking at again history over the 40 years, And believe or not, taking German as example, German companies contributed hugely to China economic growth. And taking automotive sector as example, Volkswagen set up their first company 35 years ago in China. And in fact, you could argue Volkswagen basically helping China build up their industry capability, right? Manufacturing of cars and autos from scratch. 35 years ago, we don't have our own car. We don't have any capability. But 35 years later, China has become the top priority market for their electric car R&D and innovation. You see the role is shifting, right? And 35 years later, and China contribute to Volkswagen electric car innovation at a global level. But this is a great example to show how Chinese company, the European or German companies are working together to collaborate and to co-create innovation. It is not a 1 year, 2 years. It's over many years of the journey, right? And I can argue without the contribution, the help from MNCs like Volkswagen and China, especially the industry capabilities, would not able to achieve what they have achieved here. And if you're looking at over the last 3 to 5 years, let's taking the digital sector as example, right? Once again, I'm using startup ecosystems as example. Now in China, we increasingly see the German incubator centers that we have in Shanghai. Now in southeast of China, they set up another incubation center. Now we see the German actually startups now come to China, trying to leverage Chinese local talents, capitals, and market to innovate with the goal bring some of the innovation that is created in China and apply that back maybe in Europe. This is another way. And of course, from international trade perspective, China is the number one export partner for Europe, right? So there's a lot of collaborations and partnerships happening at the national level as well as at the corporate and the business level.
So looking again at how you help your clients. So who are the typical participants of your China Bridge program?
To answer your question, I think firstly, you need to understand China Bridge is a platform, right? We position ourselves as a platform where we want to connect our clients with the right partners from China, right tech partners from China through Accenture internal account management system. So there are two target groups for China Bridge. One is our multinational clients. The second one is our Accenture internal colleagues, internal leaderships. And the third one is our ecosystem partners, right? The ecosystem partners join China Bridge because they hope to understand better what's going on outside of China. They are looking for opportunities to working with Accenture so that they can scale that up their solutions by working with our clients. Another side of the equation, our MNC clients. And our clients here specifically, we're focusing on serving a headquarter. And I would argue 80% of Accenture clients now, China is their top priority. They have office, they have practice in China, but still to a lot of headquarters C-levels, China's black box. They heard so many things about China on the news, on the videos, on the social media, but still, their dilemma or their challenge is how can I engage with China given the current global complex situation, right? And how can we ensure that on the one hand, we leverage China for the local business, but at the same time, we can also leverage their local innovation capability for global growth. There's a lot of questions that the C-level from headquarters they are having, and they discussing it on a daily basis. And here, I believe Accenture can help, right? But in order to help our clients, And our Accenture internal leadership teams need to understand the issue behind, need to have the right tools, the right knowledge to engage with the C-level from headquarters. And therefore, Accenture internal colleagues is also, I would say, a target group for Accenture, for my team, where we're giving them the knowledge, where we're giving them insights.
When starting such a program or joining ecosystems, what are pitfalls for companies when starting this open innovation journey?
So I think here is general about let's put China for seconds. Let's talk about the open innovation journey in general, right? In the past, I think the companies in general, the traditional enterprises tend to do everything in-house. And then later we argue, actually, in order to become more innovative, you need to engage with external partners. A lot of knowledge, experience is coming from outside of your company. And that is what basic logic why you should have this so-called open innovation, right? But before you really do your open innovation, and I think that there are a number of things you have to really ask yourself hard questions. What is the expectation for me to achieve, to do the open innovation? What do I want to get out from engaging with external partners? There are certain areas where you should do internally. There are certain areas you should do externally. Do you understand the differences between the knowledge you can get internal and external? Once you answer that question, then you should really also answer the third question. Who are the right partner that I should engage in order to enhance my external knowledge? There are so many different partners out there, the big one, the small one, the startups, the institutions, the universities. One, I should engage with them. At what stage of my innovation journey? And how can I organize this structure so that I bring them into the right time for the right content? And if you do not have the good answer for those questions, if you are for simply just go out to engage without any clear answer, and then you could end up number of things. You might end up and damage your own innovation culture, because in the end, your employees probably going to feel I don't get anything out of this. It feel good, but there's no output. And secondly, you might damage the relationship with the startups, because the startup thinking, it's one way giving. I'm giving you so many things, but in return, what do I get out of this engagement? Right? The third thing, of course, you invest in money. If you don't do it right or do it the wrong way, you don't meet your business case. So I think here there's a lot of things the company to really consider before they even start the journey. Of course, now working with the Chinese startups, especially from MNC perspective, that might be another, just add another layer of complexity, because the culture is different, the way of doing things is different, right? The contextual thing is all different. In such case, how can we leverage them for my own innovation purpose? That needs to be well thought through and planned.
All right. So you also talked about businesses going more into ecosystems and partnerships. So how is that actually changing business models? Are there new business models evolving?
Oh, yes. I mean, there's a lot of new business happening, right? Not only in B2C, but also in B2B. And here I'm taking China as example, because I think China is definitely one of the country leading in the digital business model perspective. And again, if you're looking at the philosophy from the Western management literature, we all have been told focusing on what you're good at. And if you're looking at the very successful European companies or Western companies, normally they are vertical. They either good focusing on producing one component or focusing on one specific target groups. But if you're looking at the Chinese companies, let's taking the internet as example, Alibaba, Tencent, Didi, Xiaomi, you name it. What you see, there's a tendency for those Chinese digital players, they are ecosystem player. Alibaba started with selling things online, but later they grow. They created Ant Finance or Alipay at that time because they want to help their clients or supplier to pay online. And later on, they created Cainiao, which is a logistics company because they want to ensure their products can be delivered on time, right? And then later on, they created Ali Cloud, which is ensure their e-commerce can be operated and supported by the right technology foundation. And now Alibaba nowadays is not an e-commerce company. It's a technology company, which is covered in all different areas, different model. And each of the components of their ecosystem, in fact, they are helping each other. They're creating a synergy, right? The ecosystem point is how can we reach 1 + 1 = 3 to 4 to 5? And that is the beauty of ecosystem partnership. And that's also the core for new business model innovation. And traditional companies need to at least have that mentality. If you are not part of the ecosystem, if you are not building your own ecosystem, because by now probably it's already too late, or you have enough money to invest to build your own ecosystem, you have to be part. Then you have to choose which part of the ecosystem I want to join. But without this ecosystem mentality and play in your strategy, my concern is you might be out of business, or you will be challenged in the coming few years because the world in the future is connected.
So thanks a lot for your time and for all those insights. So everybody out there listening, make sure to follow on LinkedIn. There are a lot of insights on China, but also what companies here can improve. So stay up to date, and thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Great pleasure.